Hello and welcome to another episode of On the Floor with Wayne and Rob. I'm Wayne Highlander, National Sales Manager for Bona Adhesives.
And I'm Rob Johnson from Bona Training.
How we doing, Rob?
Oh, I'm doing great, Wayne. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. You look great.
Thank you. I feel great.
Yeah.
Where are you? Where are you this week?
I'm home this week. Think about it. I'm home this week.
You got a little confused there, huh?
Yeah, well, I sure am. What about yourself? I saw you were training. Were you in New Jersey again?
Yeah.
Yep. Good looking class you got there. I saw the pictures on social media.
From today?
Yeah. Jeff Alfredo sent some pictures over.
Oh, okay.
He said he was leading the class, but
I wish people would tell me when they do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. You never know what I might be saying or doing, and I need a heads up sometimes.
Yeah, you look good behind that sander there. All right. So,
how was your weekend?
My weekend was good. Yeah, actually, it was really good. Had an enjoyable weekend, and I actually started to, but I didn't finish. I was doing my first TikTok. What do they call them? Just TikToks? I'm going to do a TikTok.
You're a TikTok guy now.
TikTok video. I'm not, but like I said, this is going to be my first one.
Did you join TikTok? I mean, you're in, right?
I don't do anything with it. I'm on TikTok. I follow some floor guys on TikTok. We talked about this the other day, but I've never done a video yet, although I'm going to. And it may be just my one and only.
What are you going to do?
I'm going to do a public service announcement.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I don't know why I have to be the one to bring this to the world. And by the way, on my last podcast, it sounds like I'm shouting all the time. It sounds like I'm angry when I listen back. I'm really not. I don't know why it sounds that way. I was talking about the other day, you have a great voice. You got a good soothing voice, and mine's like a razor blade. But anyhow, I'm going to do a TikTok.
I try to keep my voice very monotone.
I admire that.
This is where I want to be all the time. I don't try not to get, except when I was coaching. When I was coaching, you could hear me out in the parking lot. There was nothing like yelling at a hockey rink when I was coaching. That was when I would really get
heated up,
lighted up. Yeah.
Nice.
But I see we got a lot of fan mail about you and birthday parties. There's a lot of people agreeing with you out there, huh?
Yeah, I was surprised. That's when I sound like I was angry. I really wasn't angry, but it sounds that way. But I had some people agreeing with me. Yes.
Yeah. You had a lot of people.
And probably never get invited to another party, but that's okay. My public announcement and I don't know why I have to bring this to the world. I mean, this should be a thing already. Why is this not a thing? And I don't know how you can not agree with me. It's a pet peeve of mine. And the pet peeve is this. We are becoming more aware of, germs and whatever because of COVID-19, right? And we're wearing masks, right? We're washing our hands more, right?
Yes.
And you washing your hands at all. So that's, everybody's doing that now, and it's a thing. And this is what gets me. Why has not somebody said this? When you go to a gas station and you buy a Coke or something, right? Or you buy chips or whatever, they have a bar scan at the bottom of it, right?
Yeah. Like
every bottled water and every beverage sold in America today should have a red line, like halfway up the thing that if you're the guy behind the counter, you don't put your grubby hands above that line. You know what I mean? Like I put the scanner thing where they can scan my drink without even touching it, right? Like I go here and they just, boom, they can scan it. But every time they take their grubby hands and the guy behind the counter and he starts putting his hands right where your mouth is going to go all over the Coke, look, you know what I mean? You don't need to do that anymore. That's why we fist bump now, right? We don't have to shake hands. So why isn't that a thing where everybody doesn't know not to put your hands all over? I mean, you don't even have to touch the things. You just put it up there. You scan the QR code, and then you're done without having to actually physically touch the guy's drink. Am I right or wrong?
I think you're insane. I think you're crazy.
What's the matter with you? I'm not a germaphobe by any stretch of imagination.
Uh-huh.
I'll eat sushi at a gas station.
Okay.
Right? I mean, I don't have that hiccup, but why is this not? It is so obvious to me that all you got to do, you shouldn't have to touch the guy's stuff anymore. Just show him the thing, he scans it, and you're done. All right. So anyhow, today's topic, Rob.
Today's topic is.
Don't even say it yet.
Yeah, we got to figure out what we're going to call this.
We're going to talk about a chemical makeup of a product that has traces of ammonia, traces of sulfate, phosphate, chloride, and sodium, and a little bit of creatine, uric acid, urea, and water. That's what we're going to talk about today.
And a little milk bone.
In other words, yes. In other words, animal urine. Is there not too many things that will, and also this is almost homeowners should really listen to this podcast. Or if you're having an issue with urine on one of your jobs that turned your floor black or whatever, there is not too many things on planet Earth that will wreak more havoc to a hardwood floor, maybe say a flood or something, than animal urine, right? So,
absolutely,
yeah. So if you think about it, when urine sits on it, it decomposes, right? It becomes more alkaline and more corrosive, and eventually, it's like the equivalent of undiluted ammonia, and it burns through the finishes and into the wood. It's very destructive, and so animal urine, first of all, and I don't care what manufacturer you work for, you cannot guarantee any finish is going to hold up against animal urine. You just can't. I mean, that's some nasty.
I mean, Traffic HD has got some amazing chemical resistance, but if you're letting urine sit on top of it, I don't know how long that chemical resistance is going to go for.
And not all urine is the same, too.
What are we going to call this show? Are we going to call it urine stain? Urine stains? Pet stains?
We'll just stick with number one.
Pet stains, the glamorous side of refinishing floors.
Yeah. Is there anything that smells worse than when you run a sander across a floor that has pet stains on it?
No. And
have you ever had this before where the homeowner swears up and down the stains are not from my dog? They're just not. And then you run the sander or the machine and it's like, okay, maybe I'm not smelling what I'm smelling, but that's urine. Okay.
One of the first jobs Bum ever worked with me on, I mean, literally one of the first jobs, we're taking out the carpet, and it was just, it was an old couple and they had an old dog and a cat, and you know the deal, right? So we start rolling it up, we pick up the carpet, we're hauling it out. And he goes, oh my gosh, this is all wet. They must have spilled water or something. And I said, oh no, that's definitely cat urine.
Yeah.
And he like drops it. He goes, it's all over me. I go, yeah, I know. Don't worry about it. Okay. It'll wash off. You're not going to eat lunch right now. So,
Okay.
Yeah, you'd be fine.
Yeah.
Okay. That's.
Do you know something that, it actually can be very bad for you, health-wise.
I hope he's not listening to this.
Well, it's too late now for him, yeah. But for little kids being around heavy doses of it, and even adults, but especially little kids, that's some nasty stuff. I mean, it really is. So just keep that in consideration.
We once did a job that it wasn't a pet. It was an older lady that was living in the room. She was kind of staying with his family and for a long time. I mean, she lived there.
Yeah.
And that's when I found out that, wow, the human stuff is just as bad as the cat, because I know for a fact that cat is much worse than dog.
Yeah.
And sometimes.
That's true, by the way. That is not a myth. That is true.
Is it really?
Yes. Yeah.
Well, the people one was pretty good too. That was right up there with Cat.
Well, I told you my story years ago. I don't know if you remember it or not, but I did an estimate one time, and there was a man and lady, older man and lady, and there was a lady there in a wheelchair. And you know, it was in whatever house, nice house, but it was run down. It hadn't been, you know, they needed to be, you know, remodeled, whatever. But it was a nice house in a nice neighborhood. So underneath the carpet, he said the boards are starting to cup, or he didn't know what the expression was, but he said, but they're lifting up or whatever. So I said, yeah, you can kind of see it. And I walked through the carpet, and the carpet, you know, should have been changed out 20 years ago. And I could feel that the floors were cupped underneath it. And I said, how long have you noticed? How long have have you noticed this? He goes, it's been coming on for quite a while now. I said, all right. I said, do you mind? I said, I can't see underneath the rug. Do you mind if he goes, oh no, the rug's got to get thrown out anyhow. You can do whatever you want. So I took a razor knife and I cut an area back, and I'm on my hands and knees. I'm on my stomach, and I'm feeling around how far this is going to go back. And as I'm on my stomach and feeling up there under the carpet and everything, and, you know, I can start smelling urine, whatever. And I said, do you have any dogs or animals or anything? You know, where this is coming from? And he points to the old lady. He goes, yeah, she's what's that word that she's incontinent, and points at her, the old lady in the wheelchair. I'm thinking, dude, you saw me get down on my stomach, reaching under there, and now you tell me it's from her peeing on the floor? What the hell's the matter with you? So, yeah, that was an expensive job.
Oh, that's why we got to call this one the glamorous side of refinishing floors.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's just pure glamour right there.
Yes.
One was carrying it. You were laying in it. You were laying right down in it.
Absolutely.
And the guy watches you too.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Your estimate just doubled, buddy.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the truth. All right. So I'm going to go through and read some of this, Rob, because and to tell you, you know, when a homeowner says, hey, well, I can't, I'm very surprised the dog peed on the floor. It wasn't there very long or whatever. And it discolored the floor. You can Google on the internet. There's like 1,000 articles will come up on animal urine on floors. So you talked about cat urine. Cat urine contains amounts of ammonia. It is especially concentrated in cat urine. What's more, once a pet urinates on the carpet, if it's not cleaned thoroughly and immediately, the water in the urine evaporates, leaving behind even more concentrated ammonia. Removing cat urine smell from hardwood floors can be challenging. For a home solution, you can go with hydrogen peroxide, apply directly to the affected area, pour the hydrogen peroxide over the stain, then cover with a clean cloth soaked in hydrogen peroxide, cover the cloth with plastic wrap, weighting it with a book if necessary, allow this to sit overnight, at least 8 hours. Here's the problem with this though. And by the way, we make no guarantees or operating only suggestions. All right. We're not saying, hey, this is what you need to run out and do, because the hydrogen peroxide can also discolor the floor, right? It can bleach the floor out like. So, you know, sometimes and here's the answer. If you come upon urine damaged floors, you got to count on replacing the boards to me. And I know you got a stain for me you want to talk about too, but we'll talk about that as well. But if I'm bidding a job and there's urine stains on the floor, it's a tear out every time, 100% of the time. If I'm wrong, the 3% of the time that I'm wrong, that's a win. All right. Well, good for you. We didn't have to tear it out, but I'm going in with the expectations of if you got animal damage, urine damage, whatever, them boards are coming out. That's it. Period. That's it.
So when we were talking about doing this show, I came up with 4 different sections that I want to talk about. Okay. One was exactly what you just said, patch them out. Then you got sand them out, chemical removal, and then the bone dry fast stain driftwood. So right now you're talking about the chemical remover.
Well, I think,
I was reading that thing you sent over, and you know, said the urine out and all that stuff, but I've never seen anything take out a pet stain, and I'm talking a pet stain that after you sand the floor and the floor's white, now I got a big ass black stain in the middle of the floor.
Yeah.
I've never seen any chemical that can take that out.
Let me clarify it then, because you're right. I have not either. I've heard people say you can do this or that and the other. I've never seen it. So what on this first one I mentioned is like, if I'm a homeowner, you might try this if there's no other defense, you know, you can't get it out and you caught it right away. Well, hopefully you caught it. That's the main thing. If you see it right away, you got to deal with it right now. I mean, as quick as you can. And by the way, too, I would take a strong vacuum and vacuum it. You know, I put that vacuum hose right on it too, because that urine is going to go underneath there and that smell will stay there. So I would get on it right now. Baking soda actually works very well too, right? And so you can put baking soda on it, leave it overnight, but and be aware that, I mean, you know, it may or may not stain the floor, but you got to get that smell out. Because here's the thing: if the smell doesn't leave and you still have cats, they're going to come right back there. This is now the place where they're going to go pee. So you need to get that stain out of there for that as well. No, you got to open up the doors and the windows in the house. You got to get a fan on or whatever. You got to vacuum it out. There's also products out there that have enzyme removers or whatever in them that you can spray it on there. But you got to get that smell out, and you got to treat it as fast as you can. But if you're a homeowner expecting that your finish is going to hold up for any kind of, oh gosh, you put 3 coats on of polyurethane or water base or whatever, or hard wax oil, and I'm surprised that the urine went through there. No, it's going to happen. I don't care what manufacturer, I don't care who it is. Plan on, if that urine sits there for a long time, it's going to go. That's why I see these little dogs. I love, you know, I'm an animal lover. I love dogs, but when I see these little small 2-pound dogs that pee in here and pee over there and pee over there, that's a problem. You know what I mean?
Time for you to go.
Somebody's got to go.
Somebody's got to go, and I'm not cleaning up after you anymore.
And I'm paying the rent.
Yeah. So I think that's where people, especially homeowners, this could be a pretty good podcast for a contractor to use and say, hey, you got a lot of pet stains. Listen to what these guys said, just so they hear from a third party, because I don't know how many times you went through the same thing where you'd start sanding and and what's everybody say to you? Because everybody knows everything. Oh, you can bleach those out.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Bleach them out. Really? I don't know how many times I would take bleach, a 2-part bleach, just to show these people how wrong you are. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, go ahead.
I'm gonna go over and actually my wife sent me this one. All right, this is a homemade odor removal solution. Okay, for your homeowner listening. Combine 1 cup of water, 1/3 cup of distilled white vinegar, 1/4 cup of baking soda, and 1/4 mild dish of soap. That's a lot of 1/4s. So I'm gonna say it again. Combine 1 cup of water, 1/3 cup of distilled white vinegar, 1/4 cup of baking soda, and 1/4 cup of mild dish soap. Place the solution, all the ingredients, in a clean spray bottle and shake vigorously to mix. Spray the solution onto the stain, rubbing it in lightly with a clean cloth and allow it to stand for about 15 minutes. Rinse the solution away with a damp cloth and allow it to dry thoroughly. Okay, so that if you caught it early enough, that might be a solution that might work for you. Okay, take it from a lady that has 5 cats. Although our cats are super good about it. They don't pee in the house, whatever. I mean, at least they're not that age where they do that. And they're, you know, so also I'm just going to say, if you do have cats, have enough. You should have 1 litter box per cat, right? I don't believe I'm going down this road, but wow. You really should have 1 litter box per cat.
I've never had a cat in my life. We've never had a cat in my life ever. So this is all you now, brother.
You also have to, you got to make sure you clean them out all the time, constantly clean them out.
Each cat gets their own bathroom.
Absolutely. If a cat doesn't like what it sees, it's going to go somewhere else. So you gotta, you know, if you're going to have cats, you got just like dogs, you have to clip their nails and whatever. If you have cats, you really need to do that. I don't care.
So you got 5 cats, and so you got 5 cat boxes.
Well, we've got 4 now. One of them died, but so we got 4 now. Plus the 2 strays that we feed outside.
They don't get a bathroom.
They don't get a bathroom. They got their world. And you know, what cracks me up is that we let our cats out. They'll be out for 3 hours and then come back in and use a litter box inside the house and go back out again. It's like, dude, you're outside for 3 hours. So anyhow. So there should be, I just want to make it clear, there should be no expectations that your finish will hold up to, and I would say this no matter what manufacturer I'm working for, that it will hold up to urine damage. That like I say that all those ingredients I read out, and then the water evaporates out, then it just makes it even more concentrated. It burns that finish. And there also should be no expectations that the boards will sand out on a sand and finish job. You may get lucky, but it is a rare day indeed that you will.
Oh boy, did I get jammed up one time. I really thought that I got this thing down. Okay. I can sand out anything. I was on a really good tear there. Couple of years, pet stains, don't worry about water. I got it. You don't have to worry about a thing. Nobody knows what the hell they're doing. I can get this. I can sand this stuff out. Okay. And I am just going to town. This was a bad one, but it was an older home. And asked me if I checked the wear layer.
Oh, no.
Huh? What wear? What?
Yeah.
3/4 of an inch thick, baby. I'm gone. I'll sand this. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Can you get those stains out? I remember the homer. You get those stains out? Oh my God. Yes, I'm the best. Nobody can do what I do with a sander. And it was the strangest thing. I was looking at Pete and I'm going, what the hell is that? I wasn't seeing tongue and groove on the seams. It was on the butt joint.
Okay.
Yeah. So now you know your tongue goes into the groove, right?
Yeah.
Well, I found out that, guess what? That tongue doesn't go all the way into the groove. There's a little gap there.
Mm-hmm.
And I sanded about 6 of these little gaps.
No.
Yeah. How's that?
Yeah.
And I kept going too. I'm like, first I saw what was going on. I'm like, I must have gotten in deep there. I'm going to go heavier there. So I really
cranked it out.
Oh, baby. Did I ever crank it out? Yep. And that's when I said, well, look at that. I mean, we really started to look at it and go, oh, what have I done here? Look at this mess. It was a thin wear layer. It was an older floor, but especially older wood, that tongue didn't get near the edge. I mean, it was a good 1/4 of an inch away from the end of the groove. So that was a mess. That was a mess.
Yeah, there's nothing like taking on work like that when it was not in the plans.
Yeah, so that's when we started doing the Wayne Highlander. All right, we'll start chopping it out. That's the only way we're going to get these things out. Patch them out.
Usually, I'll give it one shot with an edge or whatever on some of them. If they look.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yes.
Give it that one shot. But even then, like you said, like you'll get the frustrating ones where like it's like, man, it looks like it's coming out. Oh, I might be okay here. And then it's like 90% out. So you got to sand a little bit more. Well, now it's like 94% out, 95% out. So you got to go a little bit more. Now you got, rather than put yourself through all that, now you got to be careful you're not, digging a hole in the floor, because you got feather out and all these other things that cover up for it, or else you're going to look back and see, especially in certain sheens, that, man, yeah, I see like there's a low area there. So rather than put yourself through all that, man, charge accordingly and
hit it with a cut. And back then we didn't have the phones that would take a picture, right? So you just kept cutting. Yeah, I think it's coming out. Make a couple more passes, a couple more. You're right. I mean, after that fiasco, we just started, all right, if it's not out in a couple of passes,
Yeah.
get out the hammer and chisel.
I'll tell you something else is blood also wreaks havoc on finishes. We did a floor years ago, obviously years ago, but it was a polyurethane floor back in the old days. And the job was only done like 3 or 4 days. And it was smoking looking good looking job, man. We was a real estate lady. We did a lot of work for her. And she called like within the first week, said, oh, my daughter, she cut herself and the blood's on the floor and it stayed on the floor. I'm going, I can't see that, man. And that was as black as could be, where that blood was. And then it went right through the wood. So yeah, there's certain things that, and the expectation should not be on the flooring contractor that this finish will hold up to these certain things. I mean, you know, if you look what's at, and again, I'd say with any manufacturer, when you look at what's asked of finishes, and all the testing that's done with mustard and different, you know, all the different chemicals and nail polish and all these different things that you put them through, you could put urine and those type of things on any kind of finish. You know, it's not gonna hold up.
It's when stuff starts to dwell. That's when you really get into problems. I mean, it'll, you know, all finish will hold up as long as you get it up. But if it dwells,
yeah,
and that's the issue you run into with area rugs and things like that. You get good finish underneath there, but you don't know what's there. So that stuff could be there for months and months and months.
Yeah. Speaking of that, you can actually get pet-friendly area rugs. If you know that your dog, you have a pet that have accidents, different areas, you know, and they usually occur in certain spots in the house. You can get washable, pet-friendly area rugs that you can put down that will help soak up the urine and absorb the odors. So, you know, also keep that in mind. So,
you got a name for them?
Pardon?
You got a name for it?
Washable area rugs. I just said the name.
Oh, I thought we were going to get a new sponsor or something. I thought that's where you were heading.
No. Yeah, I probably any pet store, whatever, they can probably tell you what rugs you could get for something like that. There's also, like I said, there are products out on the market that have the enzyme cleaners that will, you know, that are made for this. And some people will say, well, gosh, maybe you didn't put enough coats of finish on the floor. It's not a matter of that. This is some nasty stuff. So, what else can I tell you about this? I'm going to read another one here because I just want as much information as I can in case homeowners listen, or if you send a homeowner here. Using a baking soda solution. Baking soda is an alkaline crystalline powder. Since it's a base with a pH above 7, it gets rid of urine odor by neutralizing the acidic content in the urine. The results in a neutral odorless pH the results is a neutral odorless pH state. Measure about a quarter cup of baking soda and spread it thinly over the dog-soaked urine area. Avoid spreading in excess and allow it to sit in the dog's urine-soaked area overnight. Vacuum the area at dawn until clean to the touch. I hope you got that. So baking soda does work. I mean, it can help, especially get rid of the smell and all that type of stuff. So just keep that in mind. You can also, if you don't have hydrogen peroxide, you can use vinegar or even baking soda. A solution of that. White vinegar is acidic, thus can neutralize the alkaline ammonia to an odor state free.
When you mix vinegar and baking soda, it like blows up.
Yeah.
Is this a joke that you're playing on people?
Like I said, we don't guarantee any of this.
Yeah. Make sure you're wearing a respirator, safety glasses.
Use at your own risk. But I can't, you know, over the course of your career, you're going to get these calls about the urine damage on the floor. And maybe that's something that you could let, you know, if you got a homeowner with pets, you know, you might mention to them about their dog nails and then keeping them trimmed and that kind of stuff. That's which would, you know, if a guy says he wants American cherry floor, but he's got 2 massive St. Bernards, maybe that needs to be a discussion.
Yeah, maybe it's not the floor for you.
Yeah, and sometimes, you know what, there is no floor for you. You know what I mean? You're an animal yourself. You know what I mean? You don't deserve a hardwood floor. There's some people out there too. You see the kids riding their bicycles across the roller skating across the floor and riding bikes across the floor, and their pets are going all over the place. You haven't even finished the job yet, and the dog's crapping on the floor. There is no floor for you. You know what I mean? Have some personal responsibility. Don't put your hand above the mark when you go to a gas station and buy your,
Easy does it. Easy does it. All right. Now, I know you're not going to believe this one. I told you this. You didn't believe it. I got to find the pictures because I know the guy sent me the pictures. I'll find those pictures. I'll send them to you.
Uh-huh.
But I had a student at the Nashville school, and, for some reason, we got into this discussion. It's not like we discuss this at every school.
Yeah.
And this guy said, hold the phone. You got to see this. Now, he showed me a sanded floor, okay? He sanded the floor, hadn't done anything to it.
Okay.
And it was the nightmare, right? 20 spots in one room.
Okay.
20 pet stains. He then puts down Bona driftwood stain.
Okay.
And they almost completely disappeared.
No kidding.
It was unbelievable.
Okay.
I could not believe it.
I remember when you heard that and you showed me those pictures and talked to me about that shortly thereafter.
I did show you the pictures and you still didn't believe it.
Well, I'm just saying, I get it. Like, I can see it helping, just be careful.
It's worth a shot.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
It's worth a shot. Okay. Because that just impressed the hell out of me. The first shot is if somebody doesn't want driftwood stain, well,
yeah, you're out.
Then you're not going to, right. Then we're out of the game. But if they like the driftwood stain, if they like that color and they do have a nightmare, the jobs I'm talking about where you're like, well, this is a tear out type of a job, right? There's that many stains there. I was just blown away with that driftwood.
So that brings up a couple of things. One is expectations. People say, well, okay, you can't sand them out. I don't want to spend the money to take them out. So why don't you just go with a darker stain? Well, to what I always tell people is, it is always going to be that much darker than the rest of the floor. Now, you may get a stain that will disguise them more, okay, but be aware that it's always going to be that much darker than the rest of the floor. Here's the other thing. If you have a really bad urine stain and that strong ammonia has been there a long time, and you say, okay, well, the homeowner says, I don't care if you sand them out or not. I just want to sand the rest of the floors and leave that. Be aware that area might cause problems with your finish, right? Because again, you've got all that ammonia and all those other chemicals.
You're introducing all sorts of chemicals that we've never tested.
Yeah. So, I've seen it wreak havoc on finishes, oil and water. So that might be an issue. So I think that's something to consider. So again, I think really you have to, coach their expectations. And really, best course for me is to say, hey, these got to come out. These boards got to come out.
Chop them out. Yeah.
But the other part of this is that the homeowner needs to be aware or be responsible enough that, or at least to understand that if your animals do go on the floor, and I love, like I say, we love pets and dogs and all that kind of stuff too. But if they do urinate on the floor, then it could be a potential problem that you're going to sorely regret. So I told you about my dog Headley. My favorite picture in my life is a picture of my dog with Judy. I'll show you that picture, and it's the two of them together. That is the favorite picture of all the pictures I've ever had in my life. And I was a hardwood floor contractor at the time, and Judy has always said, "Don't bring home a dog. I don't like dogs, especially big dogs." That was given. We were probably married about 10 years or more at this time, that I was doing floors. I was a flooring contractor. I pulled up the gas station to get gas. And as I was putting the gas in the van, there was a police car a few aisles over from me, right? I saw he had a guy in handcuffs. And I also saw the top of the dog, this dog's head. I mean, from his shoulders up, I could see his head, right? Massive, big head on this dog. Looked like a Rottweiler Shepherd mix. And so I went to pay the gas, and I asked the cop. I said, "What's the deal with the dog?" And he said he was this guy was using him for bait for pit bulls for fighting.
Oh,
yeah. So so I went back to pumping the gas and everything. I say the dog pound is coming, whatever. So dog catcher, whatever. So I said, hey, what are you gonna do with the dog? He goes, we called the pound. He's going to pound. He goes, as big as he is, they'll probably put him to sleep. I said, oh, man, okay. So I went back and started pumping the gas, and I went, man, I can't do that, man. So I went to the cop. I go, hey, I said, I'll take the dog if this is what's going to happen to him. And he goes, you mean you'll take it? You'll take him? You'll take care of him? I said, hey, if I say I take him, that means he hit the lottery. Okay. He goes, hey, he's yours. I said, all right. So now I got this dog who's massive in frame, but he was skin and bone, like he was underfed. And he had blood on his chest, and he had blood on his paws and scars on his paws. So I think I gotta get this guy in a van. And I was loaded down on the side, so he's got to go in the passenger seat. So now I got to pick him up, this big dog who's been abused, you know what I mean? And I don't know if he's going to. So I took my belt off, I put it around his neck. I started petting him, like he was pretty docile, you know what I mean? But I had to get him up into the van, and he didn't bite me or whatever. So all right, that's cool. So I got him home, and he jumped out of the van right away. And I told Judy, I said, don't worry about it. We'll figure something out. This is what his fate was going to be, and we'll do something. So she had just gotten, she was between jobs. And so, so the next day she took it to the vet. She got it, you know, they gave it a bath, they give it the shots, do all this stuff. And from that day on, I was a guest in their house. I mean, that Judy were inseparable. And he had the rest of his life. He had a great life, man. I mean, he was well taken care of, and he was mad. And then he still had the scars all over him, but he was so big, people used to cross the street when we walked with him. I mean, and he just was a mean looking dog, but he was as gentle as could be. So anyhow, there's my dog story. So
now you see, this hopefully people who heard you complaining about kids' birthday parties thinking, boy, he's something, man. He's evil. He's pure evil.
Yeah.
Hopefully they heard this story too.
Yeah. There you go.
I mean, you know, you get some balance going on there.
Oh yeah, I
get some good balance. Yeah, you do have it. You do have a soft spot for animals, though, don't you?
Yeah.
You're a straight. You pick them up.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Oh, I mean, yeah. Animals and old folks. which is I'm going to say this too.
Here we go.
If you're in a restaurant, if you're ordering breakfast in a restaurant, right, and the waiter or waitresses are like old senior citizens, tip them better than you tip anybody else. Nobody's business plan was to be 70 years old serving breakfast at 5 a.m. in the morning. So take that into consideration, and also.
You know what else about that? I want to interrupt you here. I know that's one of my bad habits, but I always tip breakfast people heavy.
Yeah.
Because they're doing just as much work as the person who's serving you dinner.
Yeah.
They're still, you know.
Yeah.
Actually, sometimes you're doing more. Coffee, this, that, right? But the bill is, you know, 50, 60, 70% less than a supper bill would be.
Maybe your bill is. Yeah, but you're right about that.
So that's why I always tip a little bit extra for the breakfast guy, because they're doing the same amount of work, but they're not getting the same, you know, drinks and stuff like that. You know, what you pay for on a supper bill.
That's right. So, okay.
So that's my little thing.
So we're coming to an end here. We covered, if you're working behind the counter, at a gas station or a convenience store or any of those type of stores, don't put your hands over top of where people put their mouth on the drinks that they order, okay? Put your hands at the lower part of the can of the bottle, simply, or don't even touch the bottle at all, simply just scan the QR code without touching the bottle at all. That would be nice, okay? If we could start this, thing.
It started here. It started here. Remember that.
We talked about the expectations on the dogs and the animal urine, cat urine. And cat urine is worse than dog urine. We talked about taking care of old folks that serve breakfast, and also be kind to your animals.
We covered a lot today.
Yeah. So there you go.
Yeah. And the whole time we were doing this, could you smell it? I could still smell it sometimes.
The urine, yeah, boy,
it was just wafting in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Something you'll never forget, especially when you hit it with a sander.
Yeah, it comes right to you.
Oh, yeah. Hello.
Yeah. Well, I was going to talk about being on job sites, stories without bathrooms, but we'll save that for another episode. It's kind of related, but kind of not. Okay.
When we go there, I got a really good one. If we go to the ones with no bathrooms, I bet we both have some pretty funny stories.
Oh, I bet every floor man has some good stories about being on a job site and there's no bathrooms.
Well, the story I was going to tell was one that I got from another floor guy that just was one of the absolute funniest stories ever. So We'll save that for another time.
There you go. Okay. This has been another episode of On the Floor with Wayne and Rob. Please stay tuned for another episode.